Today's show and the following message are brought to you by a former guest. Alt36 is a cannabis payment solution that's powered by Dash Cryptocurrency. To learn how you can take part in their expansion, go to alt36.com or listen to MJBulls episode 12.
All of our portfolio companies seem to be able to have been able to leverage off of other portfolio companies that we've invested in. So that's worked out really well. We kind of have an ecosystem of all sorts of different parts of problem solving for the operators in the industry.
From Bumming It Media, it's the MJBulls podcast, a show about raising cannabis capital. I'm Dan Humiston, and on today's show, the Cannabis Investor Spotlight is shining on Phyto Partners and their portfolio of companies that provide products and services to cannabis companies. Today in the Cannabis Investor Spotlight series, we're joined by Larry Schnurmacher, the managing partner of Phyto Partners. Larry, thanks for joining on the MJBulls podcast.
Thanks for having me.
So I've heard a lot of great things about you, Larry, and it's nice to finally meet you. I really want to jump right in where we are with Phyto. Phyto's got kind of an interesting approach to how you invest. None of your portfolio right now are plant-touching companies. Is that correct?
That's correct. So our strategy from the beginning has been to look for businesses that solve problems for the licensed growers and the licensed sellers. And there's a bunch of them, and these guys can't do business without these problems being solved for them. Mm-hmm. We've focused on companies that help the licensed operators do business. All this, you've seen tons of money go into the cultivation part of the industry. All these licensed producers in Canada, some in the United States. We've also seen a lot of money go into the dispensary side of the industry. So companies that are opening up dispensaries in multiple states. Those businesses don't function like other industries. It's not like opening up a liquor store and then you could just get all the liquor you want and start advertising and marketing and selling your product and developing a client base. It doesn't work like that in cannabis, not even close. The businesses that we've focused on, again, are companies that help with the demand side of the industry, teaching doctors and patients how to incorporate cannabis into their medical practice, or how to incorporate cannabis into their treatment programs for whatever illnesses they're dealing with or helping their patients deal with.
Jumping around here, but another thing that I find unique about Phyto is that you're not adverse. In fact, sometimes you even encourage working with other investors, sort of co-investments on projects. What's the advantage to doing it that way?
We have looked for companies that attract interest from other institutional investors in the cannabis space, not just kind of wealthy individual investors that are attracted to the space. We want companies that have been successful in finding other institutional investors like Phyto to participate in their raises. We know they'll be around for future raises. They'll be supportive strategically to helping them grow their businesses and be successful in executing whatever plan for their business.
Yeah.
We don't want to be investors with a whole bunch of family and friends. We want institutional players who will be there for future funding rounds, for growth issues, delays, things like that. So we've tried to put together a portfolio of companies that can leverage off one another, that can collaborate, that can in some way help one another to succeed. Not necessarily the same businesses and sometimes competitors. All of our portfolio companies seem to be able to have been able to leverage off of other portfolio companies that we've invested in. So that's worked out really well. We kind of have an ecosystem of all sorts of different parts of problem solving for the operators in the industry.
When people are looking for raising capital, I think that's one of the things that they sometimes overlook, but it could end up being the most important aspect of it is the relationships. I know you and your partner, Brent, are everywhere and you know everyone. So your network, you utilize that and help any of your investing portfolio just leverage the heck out of that. And that's a really big benefit. I don't think people sometimes appreciate how big of a benefit that is.
It's been a benefit to us, to our partners, and our portfolio companies. It's worked out perfectly, kind of by design. Every one of my portfolio company CEOs would kind of sing our praises of how we've helped them in some way and how most of the time we haven't gotten in their way. So that has worked out well.
Just those introductions alone, those warm introductions make such a big difference. Just a quick shout out to one of our former guests, Blaze, a cannabis technology company with software for dispensaries, distributors, and coming soon, manufacturers and cultivators. Listen to MJBulls episode 33 or go to blaze.me to learn how you can be part of their expansion. Let's switch gears and let's talk about investors. Part of your business is that you have to raise capital in order to deploy capital. And, there's a lot of our listeners are accredited investors who are sort of making that decision as how do they get involved in the cannabis industry. What are some of the advantages to working with Phyto?
So the advantages of working with a fund like Phyto Partners is that you're working with professional investment advisors. My partner and I have been in the industry in investment banking and regular way wealth management for, a combined 50 years or so. We give access to the industry to individuals who normally wouldn't be able to invest in anything other than the pot stocks that are trading all over the place. Valuations sometimes have very little to do with the businesses at hand. Sometimes there is no business. We're finding and we're able to source privately held companies that are real businesses with strong management teams and exciting entrepreneurs who are finding ways to insert themselves in this industry. There's lots of different parts to it. Growing and selling marijuana, cannabis is like two obvious parts of the industry. They're kind of the shiny objects that everybody is looking for, licensed growers or licenses to grow and or sell marijuana. What we have tried to do is find businesses that help those two ends of the spectrum function in this industry. So we give access to accredited investors who want to have a diversified portfolio. They don't want to be in one investment, reliant on one, let's say, geography, state, country, or part of the industry. Investing in a fund like Phyto, you're investing in human resource management, technology, point of sale, seed to sale tracking, compliance businesses, big data companies. We've invested in a testing lab. We've invested in a company that provides grow technology to the cultivators. We've invested in a staffing company that helps these cannabis businesses staff up, find executives, and actually has something called Gigs, which is an on-demand employee service for operators. It happens to be a company called Vanks, which I met through another portfolio company, is, I believe, your daughter's company. Yep. She's 30 under 30 and doing fantastic. One of our profile investments in the first fund.
Yeah, she's very, very proud of what she's doing.
Mm-hmm.
So if an investor that's listening right now wants to get in touch with you to talk to this further and get more into detail, how would they get in touch with you?
They can either email me at larry@phytopartners.com, larry@phytopartners.com, or you can call me directly, 561-542-6090. Our second fund is still open to new investors. We've started to deploy capital already. Very exciting businesses.
And I'll have all of Larry's information in case people didn't catch that. I'll have all of Larry's information and Phyto Partners information on the MJBulls website at MJBulls.com. Larry, it's been great finally meeting you. Hopefully we can do this again in the near future.
For sure. I'll give you an update on the second fund. At the beginning of the year, we'll have probably 10 or 12 portfolio companies, up from 6 at this point.
Oh my gosh. Good for you. This is really exciting stuff. Thanks again. Good luck.
Thanks, Dan.
Just a quick shout out to one of our former guests, AutoCure automated drying and curing units that are being installed in large cannabis cultivation facilities throughout North America. Listen to MJBulls episode 7 or go to autocure.us to find out how you can invest in their expansion. Thanks for listening to the MJBulls podcast. To learn more about today's guest or to become a guest, visit our website at mjbulls.com. Today's show was produced by Bumminett Media, with original music composed by Jamie Humiston. I'm Dan Humiston, and you've been listening to the MJBulls podcast.